All right, so I wanted to go over the marijuana stocks. They've been having a massive week. I mean, I started talking about these all the way back in October. So our perfect entry would have been here, right around 11:31. That could have been all in. Um, Actually, you could have went all in here, so right around 8. But you could have started scaling in, back here in October. So and then we were consolidating around this $20 area, and then we just took off. So last week was 42%. This week up over 148%. Specifically, that's TLRY. So what I really wanted to do is I wanted to look to see, are we potentially getting in an area where we're getting a little, towards a local top, an area where, it could be high probability of, pulling back? I'm going to say yes, but let's actually look at the chart. Let's see how everything's been playing out. I'm going to start with the 4 hour because this is where we were getting this movement. And let me switch the other TD sequential so we can see all the counts because the run-ups have been just tremendous. So here we go. So we came in this area here, this $20 area. There was a lot of resistance. We were getting consolidation, which at the time I said was very good. Let's go to the daily. So we're here at the 9. We pulled back. We didn't get a kind of. I mean, we kind of did get a retest, but I like this retest to be with a red number. So we have a red number here, but it didn't cross this price. But it doesn't necessarily have to do that. That's just the way I like to see it. You can see here, it tried to go, price tried to follow through and break up higher. It didn't. It sold off. And then eventually on this here, the buyers overtook the sellers and it ran up. And then we hit a 9 on the 5th. And here, let's just go over TD and then we can start adding indicators. So here could have been a good area. We had a 9, went up above, pulled back. We had a green number, close above a prior green number, which could have been your entry. So you could have gotten in at 23.49, say 23. And then we had the 9, which was at 25. So if you would have, say you would have gotten at the top, where did it close? Yeah, here, and you would have sold at the bottom. That would have been a 9% return. Still good for, 3 days. But you don't necessarily, so if you were in the position, you could still hold because the momentum was just, I mean, you can still run up. Even though there's a 9, we saw it here, we still ran up. These are good areas of and high probability of, pulling back for 1 to 4 candles. But, I mean, the run up was just, the momentum that was here was just enormous. And I can show that with some other indicators. So now we've had a green number close above a prior green number, close above the 9. That's bullish. So even yesterday, you could have entered a position at the close here, and then today you would have been up 50% because that's a green number above prior green number above the 9 going up. Now this candle is a reversal candle. It ended green, but it is a reversal candle. Right now, post market, it's $66. We closed the day at 63. I know this was as high as like 70, but hey, I mean, I think we're getting towards an area, of, we could be in for, maybe a little bit of a pullback. We still have this 40 so we hit the 40. This is a continuation of the count. So I'm going to keep this on here. That's just the way I like to trade it. The traditional TD sequential doesn't include the additional counts. That's why you don't see the numbers here. But this version of the TD sequential does. But I just like to use it because it's continuing the count and I can see the numbers print above it. But to me, this isn't necessarily an area that really was real resistance. I mean, we went right through it. It should have been. If I look at the Fibonacci retracements, 37. So 37 was like an area that should have been. Actually, I have this drawn backwards. This should actually be here. Let's see. That's not the one I'm looking for. That's the one I'm looking for. Let me hide this one. So here, this shows there should have been some resistance at 52. And what did we get? We had a high here, 45. Let me go on the daily. So here, what was the high before? 40, 45. We closed at 63. So yeah, there should have been some resistance here. Even on the 4 hour, there was a marker there. Let's go back to the other one. So here we go. So 56.45 should have been resistance. It actually looked like it was support once it. So 52, we went right through it, no problem. Next area that's kind of interesting is 75. Post market, we kind of got that high, and then it looks like it's sold off. So I'm going to take this off my chart because that's an area which printed a 9 all the way back here, and that's an area that was a potential retest area that we could have saw a sell off. It really didn't do that, but it's an area that, that you can put on your chart as a target. So we got that. I'm going to delete that. And then what do we have? We have 62. This has to get retested with, let's see. Yeah, why did I have those two? I had those wrong colors. Yeah, this is how old. I didn't even know. I had made these marks a long, long time ago, even before I started color coding my time frames. Yeah, that's right. And then there's another one here at 62. So I'm going to take this one off. And then we hit this one with a green number as well here with a 6. So I'm going to take that one off as well. I'm going to save that. And then now we have 64.96 as a target. Right there. And did we get that with a number? No, it's an extended, if I would have used the other TD sequential, we would have, but I'm not going to count that. So I'm going to leave that on my chart as a mark. That could be support. The 40, yeah, the 40 was just, it should have been resistance, but it wasn't. So here's areas that we could pull back. How likely is it that we get back to 27, 24, 19? I'm not going to say it's unlikely, but it's definitely possible, right? That would be a 50% correction. Let's look at so Fibonacci says we're going to find support at 52. That's going to be a good area of support based on this prior run-up, which should be marked with the weekly. Yep. So 52. So we could actually consolidate between 52 and 75 if we get a sell-off tomorrow. So let me take that off. So 52 and 75 could be consolidation area, which I think would be healthy given that we ran up 148%. And even today we went as low as 47. So, and like I said, this was a reversal candle, but let's look at the 4 hour. We had a 6, so we can go 7, 8, 9, which would carry us out to the 12th, which is, what's the 12th? That's Thursday. Yeah, could carry us out to Thursday. On the 1 hour, we had an 8. Tomorrow could open big with a 9. That could be, that could be our local top. How high that goes right now, I don't have a target because it basically blew through my targets like nothing. So I'm going to say 75. I'll bring that Fibonacci back up. Oh, not that one. This one. So 75 is probably an area of a top. So tomorrow morning, within the first hour of trading, we can see that. We'll see if that's resistance. It should be. These are, these aren't set in stone. These are just, these indicators are here to give you a guide, right? To guide you along your trade. So we'll look at that tomorrow. We'll look at 75. That could be a big area of profit taking, 75. All right, so let's look at some other stuff. Let's look at, to see if we have, how oversold we actually are. So let's look at our Bollinger Band. That's not what I want to do. Let's take, so here's our 1 hour strategy though, the 30 simple moving average. That would have told you to get in way back here at $19. We're basically where we kind of consolidated, and you'd still be in it. It technically wouldn't tell you to get out till 37, but if you want to take some profit, off the table, I'm not going to say it's a bad idea. This thing has run up so much, and these returns, even in days, if you would have got in on the 9th, which was Monday, not Monday, Tuesday. Today's gain would have given you 50%. Some people dream about 50% for a year, and that, I mean, you had a daily return of that. So, I mean, long term, I think if the MORE Act passes the Senate, we're going to this 140, 160. I mean, I honestly believe if we get some good consolidation around this area, this 150, that we're going to go right through this all-time high of $300. I'm spending a lot of time on TLRY, but I'm going to go over some of the other weed stocks as well, marijuana stocks. And I'll kind of do a quick rundown of them because, I mean, amongst this space, I'm going to say TLRY is the blue chip of the marijuana stocks. Am I sure that it has the biggest market cap? No, but if it isn't number one, I'd be surprised. And if it isn't number one, it's probably number two as far as market cap goes in the marijuana space. I could have checked for that, but I'm just, I'd be surprised if it's not number one or number two. So let's look at Bollinger Bands. And I'll clear this out. We'll look at each indicator independently. We're way above this. This is, like I said, this run-up's just crazy. Even on the weekly, you can see some compression here and then it goes up on the Bollinger Bands. Yes, this is indicating that we are in an area that could be, I mean, look at this. This is so high. The Bollinger Band width. It's been higher before, but this is on a drop. 1.84. And the run-up, it was 1.92, 1.84. Tomorrow could be a big day. And then we pull back. I mean, we are extended. This is an extended. And I did say with this TD sequential, the 6 can be the high. You can get a peak on this number 6 candle. So Bollinger Bands are saying, I want to be cautious. CMF's through the roof. It's saying there's no concern on the weekly. Daily, through the roof. No concern. Really no sell-offs. 4 hour, no concern. 1 hour, we're getting some divergence. Right here. Right there. And right there. Price is kind of going higher generally with indicator trending down. We could be seeing first indication that we're getting a top, and it's happening on the 4 hour. I mean, on the hourly. It hasn't happened on the 4 hour yet. Let's go to the SAR. So this is stop reversal points. If there's going to be any breakdown, it's going to start on the hourly first. That doesn't start breaking down until we get to 50s. In the 50s. Tomorrow it's going to print a new one. It could be much higher. Maybe 55. Let's see. Let's look at the RSI. RSI is running flat. I mean, this could break tomorrow. If it breaks up past above 90, we're probably going higher in price. But again, this is flat, but this is still bearish. As far as on the hourly goes with the RSI. So we have a bearish CMF on the hourly, and we have a bearish RSI on the hourly. We have flat prices with my oscillator, pretty much flat prices here with my oscillator like this. Flat prices with my oscillator going down. So that is a bearish divergence as well. All right, so 4 hour, what does it look like? 4 hour, we broke, I said, if we break this, 88, we're probably going much higher. Here, once we get into this oversold area, as we break prior highs, that's just momentum building. So if I'm here at a 2, if I'm looking at this chart live, I'm here at a 2, it's consolidation between 26. I get a day that opens up. We're open up 39%. We broke this high. I could actually technically say, hey, that's an indication of bullishness. I can enter a position. Yeah, I would have, throughout the day, if I would have entered here, maybe 1.5%, and then we broke higher. So that's a breakout. This is another breakout, right? So 88 was the high. If I'm looking here, right there, like I said, green number, this is technically a green number. Green number above the prior green number above the 9, and then I had my RSI at 88, and then this day I closed at 89. So I broke that. That's more momentum building up. And look at this. The next day it opened up 50% up. But what is this telling me? I mean, that's past price action. This is telling me that we can still go higher tomorrow, but that opening hour is going to be extremely important because we're going to get a 9, and we could see it run up tremendously. We can, like I said, that 75 area right here is probably going to. I mean, and it was prior resistance as well. I mean, it was prior support right here, so it could be, future resistance. All right here, this consolidated and then it sold off. So prior support can be future resistance and vice versa. So this area is extremely important. I think 75 could be, we could see a local top and then see some sell off. What could be the worst case scenario? 40 something percent sell off. We'll see. But I think we still have some more time to run. Oh man, look at the weekly. This is on the weekly. This is an RSI on the weekly. It's never been higher than this. But I mean, if we look at this, 75, again, momentum. Whenever we get in this area of overbought, something can stay overbought for an extended amount of time. We're here, it pulled back, found support here, and then this week, the high was 75. The weekly closed at 78, and we had a green number on this TD sequential. I mean, this is so good. This thing's so good. And I'm going to even bring up the moving averages because the moving averages were trending up. So trending up right here, we had a 5 knock out 3 weeks worth of high. I mean, it closed above the highest high for the prior 3 weeks, and we had an RSI breakout above the prior peak. That's momentum building. This is what a momentum move looks like. TD sequential is based off of time and momentum, and it gives you all this in real time. It attempts to. Most of your indicators, your RSI, CMF, MACD, all that stuff, that's lagging indicators. The TD sequential is something that gives you a time frame, and it gives you a very quick way to determine in real time where price could potentially go. I don't need to look at all these other indicators, really. I mean, it's nice to have these other indicators to kind of build your case on if you want to enter something long or short, but I don't need to use, moving average, convergence, divergence. I don't need to use MACD. It's a lagging indicator. TD sequential is not lagging. Bollinger Bands I'm just using to determine if I'm oversold or overbought. RSI, it's a good indicator. I'm using it to look for some divergences, and if I'm oversold or overbought, and then if I'm oversold, I can go lower. If I'm overbought, I can go higher as treating it as a momentum indicator. CMF, I'm trying to look at the money flow coming in and out of the asset. If I'm getting good money flow, if there's more buyers and sellers, that's what that indicator attempts to show you. And here, I mean, you can see it. It's climbing. This indicator is telling me there's more buyers. I mean, the money's coming in to purchase the asset. And, you can see here that was a peak. I mean, even here, again, momentum. A lot of these stocks trade on momentum. Right there, that's a line. Came back down. I mean, once we broke this, though, that's bullish, right? So I'm at the 2 above the 1. I could have entered here. We consolidated, but, I mean, you could have entered here at 19 if you would have got in late. This is telling you it's going higher because momentum's building. So that CMF on the weekly has never been higher. And that's, concern. I mean, 91 on the RSI is just crazy. I think this is pretty much, this can go, I haven't seen a stock ever in my life that goes above 100 on the weekly. I don't even think Bitcoin has gone above 100 on the weekly. And that thing moves. So, little concerning. Maybe next week we get a pullback. Maybe we get a pullback here, 47. Like I said, we can consolidate between 52 and 75 and then take off to these higher prices. So CMF, I really just wanted to show the RSI on the weekly, daily. We broke out, but we did get a reversal candle. Tomorrow morning, first hour of trading, very important. I think we might see 70, 75. So yeah, I'm just running through these. Let's look at unbalanced volume. That's broke out right there. Even on the hourly, it's still up. There's no divergence there, which states it's still bullish. I mean, look at this. And this is also, I'm not a volume trader. I don't look at volume specifically like this chart. Let me pull up just the volume. Right here. You know, you can see volume climbing. There's consolidation here, and then you have higher volume. But you actually, so here, I mean, this, the reason I like the on-balance volume is because you can see, I mean, it's a line, it's a graph. It's giving me like a graph of, I can see this as consolidation, and then I can treat it as a breakout for momentum. I mean, I could do that with volume, but I see a lot of traders trying to pay attention to what the volume is, like numerically, it's so many shares or so many, you know. I'm not really worried about that. I don't really care what this number is. You know, you can look up the math for how on-balance volume is calculated, but this is showing me a consolidation area with respect to volume. And then this is showing me a breakout, right? And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for momentum to enter a trade. So this is 1 billion. We broke out, you know, this is here. If I set a line there, I'll do it. Right there. I don't need to look at this volume, but I can see on the daily I had a 6, and I broke above this right here. I broke above it, barely. And also had good volume, but I don't really need this. And this is telling me I can go long. And I mean that was, you would have been profitable based on that consolidation. And you saw consolidation in the price. You saw consolidation in the TD sequential. Right? We had a 9, we had a pullback consolidation. That's always good. Resistance, 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 breakout. Went above the 9, cleared out all these highs. That's new buyers coming in, new money. I bet you the CMF also showing you momentum. If I bring them all up, right there. Yep, look at this. This is what you want to see. You want to see good momentum. All of it was breaking out, telling you that this is a buy. Maybe, you know, on-balance volume and TD sequential was better. CMF is a lagging indicator, so CMF was, and is on-balance volume. I mean, it's recalculated daily, but it's a little laggy. I mean, this actually went down, but you had 2 other indicators telling you, you know, to be bullish. So on-balance volume for the daily, that's high. There's no divergence anywhere. I mean, this is just trending up with price. I mean, if anything, this on-balance volume is telling you that this is, so I have a flat price. I mean, it's not really flat. It's trending up on the bottom. On the top, this is just trending with price. So this, I mean, all this is doing is reinforcing a movement up. And weekly, again, it's the highest it's ever been, even higher than back here. But this is a summation. This on-balance volume will keep on going up as, you know, the asset exists. It never, I mean, unless it had a tremendous sell-off, it's never really going to get back here to these numbers. But again, it's just a chart to show me consolidation areas, potential areas of breakout due to momentum and price. But as of, I mean, that didn't show me anything. CMF was bullish. RSI is really showing me the only thing that's bearish, because we have that divergence right here on the hourly. That bearish divergence, because CMF was just trending up. Oh, no. It's bearish too. Is it? Yeah, it is right there. So CMF bearish on the hourly. RSI bearish on the hourly, both starting to show it on the lower time frame. That's about it. There's nothing else to show. So what do I think? Do I think we're just going to run up 148% and not get a pullback? No. I think we're going to see some resistance here at 75. We could pull back, find support at 52, consolidate for a little while, and then, you know, within the next 3 weeks, maybe make an attempt at these higher highs, because we're at, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9. So by March, the week of March 1st, will give us our TD9 on the weekly. And then we'll see. We'll see if it sells off big. We get consolidation. On the daily, would that carry us? If I use, I don't want to leave. if I use the other TD count, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So February 1st, 19th would give us a 9. What date is that? Could potentially give us a 9. Do I think it's going to run up that high? I don't think so, but we'll see. That's next Friday. I'm really just interested to see what's going to happen at the opening tomorrow. So I spent more than enough time on TLRY. Let's look at SNDL, because that's another one that's running up tremendously. Look, we got a 9 on the hourly. Let me just do I'm not going to run through all the other indicators like I did on TLRY, because like I said, that's like the blue chip. And post market, man, it's already at 328. What is that from close? 12%. So we are on a 5. And a lot of times I can just use the TD sequential to just look at it. I don't need to look at all the other stuff. I'm on a 6, just like TLRY. Can I see some other markers? Yeah, it's not really, there's not a lot to go off here. Nope, retest. Yeah, this asset hasn't been around as long as TLRY, so everything looks fine there. But I know we can start putting some markers on the 4-hour. It retested. Right here, it didn't. Can it go that low? I'm not going to rule it off my chart. I'm not going to rule it out until we break the all-time high. 95 cents. Oh, man, that would be horrible. Yeah, there's even one here. I'm just going to mark these, you know. Do I think these are... I mean, is this possible? The higher it goes, the less probability, right? But you don't never say never. Retest. Right here. Look at this. Right there. So maybe that's a target. 388. Yeah, that could be a target. We have here, this is just a misprint. All right. So there we go. Let's look at the daily. I did already, I think. Yep. And look at that. That's a prior high. So we could sell off there. I don't see anything else on the weekly. And I'm really not going to draw a Fibonacci on here. There really isn't much one to give, because basically whenever it IPO'd, it just crashed down. So you couldn't really draw the Fibonacci the way it should be properly drawn. And you could do something that's funky and not correct. Like putting the 1 here and the bottom here, but that's not the right way to draw Fibonacci. It should really be reversed, but you can't do it that way because that's not where the low and the high is. So yeah, I'm going to say 388. I can bring up the Ichimoku cloud because sometimes that's good to find areas of support and resistance. But there's not enough data on this given the parameters that I use. Yep. So there you go. Sundial. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm not as... my price target for this isn't as good, right? What is this? Sundial 1322 is the high. You know, maybe if we get... I find it hard. I don't know what its market cap is, but I would say even if TLRY does run up to $150 to $300 or something like that, I think SNDL would have a harder time to get there, to this. You know, it might get to its all-time high, but breaking above it, I would say that we would come very close to maybe like 11 or 10, but that's just my analysis right now. Let me save that. Let me look at, I'll bring up the Ichimoku. I'll just go back to TLRY real quick. I want to pull up the Ichimoku cloud and see what that looks like. Again, a lot of these indicators that I'm using, you know, I did a quick tutorial on like candles. I did one on patterns, like channels and stuff like that. Maybe eventually I'll start breaking these down, but I mean, all of this stuff, you can Google it and see how this stuff's calculated. I've gone through the math and stuff. It's not something I want to explain here, but maybe eventually I will if I get enough requests to do so. So on the hourly, yeah, there's support at 47. This pulled down. It kind of found it in that general area. Here, where is it at? 42. So, all right. What's the next one? There's another smaller cap one. Oh, let's look at Aurora Cannabis, because at some point I talked about that one too, and I had targets for all that as well. 6. Oh, look at this. There you go, 1980. Tomorrow, maybe 1980. That's going to be some big time resistance. That's a double top. And what do I always say? There are no double tops. So we could hit this, sell off, maybe come back down to form a cup and handle pattern. Man, you would lose maybe a little cup and handle pattern. Maybe something like here to $16. And then you would break out from there, and then we could set a target based on that. But, oh, look, I think I even have a Fibonacci on here. I do, but I have it drawn wrong. Do I have it drawn wrong? I do have it drawn wrong. That should actually be over here. That should be somewhere over here. Oh, I have it locked. I don't know where the low is. Somewhere. This isn't exact. Somewhere right here. And I'll lock it there. So 32 is the next area of resistance on the based on a Fibonacci retracement. Let's see what we have on the daily. On the daily, we hit a 9. I'm going to mark this area right here. Right there. And I'm going to mark this one too. Right there. These white ones are all, these are all weekly targets. They should be anyway. Yeah, they are, but I think I brought up the other TD sequential to mark it because it's not here. Yep, that's weekly. 57. Where's the 57 coming from? I haven't looked at this. I pretty much abandoned, right here. I pretty much abandoned Aurora Cannabis whenever TLRY started outperforming it. Here and here. So these are all weekly targets. These are all, I mean, I can put one here too. $85. So there you go. Does that line up with the Fibonacci? It kind of does. A little bit. Right here it does. So there you go. 1980. Tomorrow morning. Let's just check it out. 4 hour. I know the daily we hit a 9. I just marked all that stuff. We would look for potential pullbacks. You know, $15. Look at this right here. 16 something. So that lines up with what I just said. $15, $16. Reversal candle, but we're higher. We'll see. This is going to be important tomorrow because we're going to hit this long. I think we're going to hit this long-term resistance area. You can see it. It was support, broke down. Resistance, broke down. It'll probably be resistance. Oh, look at this mark right here. It should be on a 4 hour. Oh, hey, that's a good thing too. If you're charting, you're starting to chart. It's nice to color code your charts. If you start marking things so you know what time frames you're on. Did this one get retested? It didn't. That's why it's still there. Nope. But I'm still going to leave it. Okay, so there you go. That's Aurora Cannabis. Now let's do, we did SNDL, we did Aurora Cannabis. Let's do, I think Huge is one of them. That's up to 470. Let's look at the daily. I'm pretty sure that's a marijuana stock. You can look at the stock information here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is. Let me look that up. Let's see. FSD Pharma. So I got this tip from a buddy today. He said, look at it. Yeah, cannabinoids. Yeah. So another marijuana stock. So what do I think? What do I think? I think that this is on a 7, 8, 9 tomorrow. Yeah, so the first 2 hours, You have an area here that it hit. That's a miscount. Daily. Yeah, this is extremely volatile. Wow. This thing ran up one time, you know, it's at some point. Look at this. 2018, that big run up whenever Canada decriminalized marijuana, and it came down. Consolidation. So this is how markets or how assets can bottom, right? So they big run up, and then they're boring. This thing was boring for pretty much since 2019, and then all of a sudden it started getting interesting. But on a large scale, it's really not that interesting. You know, whenever you minimize it, it's kind of flat. Or you know, what markets can do, they can go up, they can come down and bounce sharply, and then continue back to their trend. But yeah, so this was a small cap stock. I think it was 70 million, something like that. 70 million. I looked at the stats on it. Yeah, $70 million market cap. This is tiny. This company is tiny. So there's high volatility. Whenever the market caps are smaller, I say that I don't use the 1 hour, but there's just too much risk for this. I mean, you would still size your position accordingly. Nothing more than 1 or 2% of your total account would you base your trade on as far as where you were wrong. But it followed the nines a little bit. 9 consolidation came back. 9 consolidation pulled back. So I would say 8, 9. I'll take whatever profit it gives me. I'll enjoy it, and then I'll move on because what's here? Let's look at this triple MA. Yeah, this is breaking out. I mean, and we took out all this resistance, and we hit this 9. I mean, you can see that there was a big sell-off here at 687. Big sell-off here. So this looks like the area of resistance. If I just draw a line across, it's split too. Oh man, splits introduce a little bit more complexity, but 550. I would say 550. It could run up, but then it would sell off probably to that area. So tomorrow, if you probably get around 550 or greater, that would probably be a good area to sell. I said I didn't want to bring up all the other indicators, but let's see. And your RSI is probably, yeah, there's divergence there. Just like in TLRY. Still super. I mean, these are almost mirror images. Everything's moving together. This hasn't broken out yet, and it's been higher before, but I don't know. I mean, I guess you can do a trailing stop if you really, really wanted to. I would say if you entered the trade at 386 whenever the market closed, you're wrong at 362. And then as it moved up, let's look at the Ichimoku cloud. You can, yeah, this separation is just too large. Oh, you could use the guppy maybe. So you can kind of see it found support at this second line. This is a 8 EMA moving average, so you could set a stop there as price ran up. Here you would have lost, but tomorrow it's going to move up aggressively. So let's go to the 15-minute. Yeah, I mean, I would say if you entered, once this thing prints a 9 on the hourly, I would exit, especially if it's above 550, and everything else being just so heavily over, ran up so much. I mean, this thing ran up 76%. Yeah, so what else are we going to look at? Let's look at one stock, IIPR, which never really took a break like the other marijuana stocks. It ran up. This is something called a hyperwave. I thought it broke and it was going to break down. It should have returned. You can look this up. There's a channel called Hyperwave Theory. It should have returned back to night 20, but it didn't. It found support at 40, which oddly enough is a marker on. No. That's the 9. Look at that. 9 reversal went up. You could have bought here. You could have bought here at $46 on March 18th, and that would have been the perfect bottom. And you could have just rolled this up. But let's look at this one, which is one that kind of never broke. So this company deals with the like property management of marijuana stocks. I don't know their business specifically, but it is in like some sort of property management type business. So it's on a 9. It's continuing to go up. It broke its prior high. Let's see. Its RSI is trending down. That's divergence. It still hasn't broke. Look at this. 88 or 80, 79. If this thing starts to trend up, it could break out higher. But it is overbought. Look at this. This is divergence big time. So, given, this didn't quite follow the rest of the marijuana industry because it did break down whenever others were consolidating for all those years. This continued to go up, but this could, this is in that sector. So see where it goes. This is different. This is one outlier out of many. Is there any more? Can I think of any more? No, that's about it. So let's do a quick review of Bitcoin, though. Just real quick. Where are we at? Oh, we had a little bit of a sell-off today. Yeah, we did. Oh, the new day must have started. Is it past 6 p.m.? It is. 7 minutes past. So Bitcoin's on UTC time, but if you live in the central time zone, that's 6 o'clock. So yeah, we had, this is a reversal candle here. Don't quote, I don't remember the name, but I reckon I've done this for a little while, and I recognize this was technically a reversal candle as well. But this is, you can kind of see, we had a consolidation. Let's bring up this 30 EMA because this is really good on Bitcoin. This fuchsia line or whatever, sold off. Technically you would have exited here at this 5. And I can tell you, I didn't technically exit at this 5, and the reason was because on the 4 hour we had a 9, and that 9 is 1 to 4 candle correction, and then we could go higher. And what we kind of saw was we kind of did see a reversal, but we retested it here, and then it looked like it was trying to break out, and then it failed. So on this failure, which was this morning, 4%, we broke back. We can see the 30 EMA broke down, went above it, was resistance, and then this is where we broke down. And here's where, I took a little bit of profits and took some stuff off the table. And I'm going to see. I think we're going lower. I think we're actually going to get a, we're on an 8. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a 9, which means we have to close below 44,369. We could bounce. I can pull up the RSI and I can show you on the hourly whenever we did bounce. We can see here that this was support, broke. If we did break higher, we broke higher on a 7, 8, 9, but then it broke support here. And then we should find, if we go lower, we should find support right here at around the 50. So what I said is whenever we're overbought, whenever the RSI starts to trend down, we usually find support at around 40 or 50. On the hourly, you're going to see the bounce real clear. So here, bounce, went up, took a break, consolidated, and I think we're going back down. Daily, your TD, we broke below it. We were here, we broke below it. There's divergence. I'll point that out, right there. Bearish divergence. And if you've been watching this channel for a little while, you can see where my go-to is. What I'm using to trade this. It's not a complicated strategy. It takes a little bit of patience, and you have to trade systematically. You can't be emotional. But I'm going to say it's not rocket science, but all this stuff gives you a guide. You have to interpret it. So there's bearish divergence. We broke the RSI. I think we're going lower. I think we're going to retest this 40. I'm going to say 40. I really want to say 38 to 42,000 is what I want to say. And I'll show you why. Right there. So my Ichimoku is at 38. Right here, there's a bunch of support, right? There's a 9. I have a 1 here that can, with another count. Let me show you the other TD. So here we had a 4 reversal candle, 5, 6. I think there's going to be a lot of support right here between this $38,000 and $42,000 area. I'm not really worried about the weekly. We have a weekly 9 here. Ideally, what I would like to see, even though we're not going to get the big price run up again anytime soon, what I would like to see is another 3, 4, 5 weeks, right? So this week right here, March 1st, I would like to see, in order to get I'd like to see on the week of March 1st, us test this 38 area, close probably in that 38 area with some consolidation for maybe a couple of days or a week, and then go higher. Because this, let me see. That's what I would like to see. Is that what's going to happen? I'm going to say probably not, but this is what I would like to see. That would be like my perfect setup is, where I'm going. Another reason I said 42, we have this Fibonacci right here, and this is going to be resistance. Maybe this 9 comes all the way down here to 42 and we get a bounce. But we'll see. Here's another thing I want to point out. So we're on the hourly. That broke. If we use our 30 EMA strategy, our simple moving average strategy. But you can also see in these bull markets that this 30 simple moving average on the 4 hour kind of is support. Where's that at? Around 42,000. So we can get a bounce there. We can get a 9 all the way down here. We get a bounce. We could go higher. But some level of consolidation would be good. So there's some other popular moving averages on the daily. They are the 50, the 128, and the 200. Ones that I haven't looked at in a long, long time, and I'm kind of curious to see where they're at. Wow, they are way down here. 128 is all the way at 23,000. That's probably not going to happen. Even the 50 is at, 34. I'll show you real quick in the last bear market how well this 128 was. And in the bull market, how well this 128 was. So let's start it at 2017. I said that I was going to make this quick. Definitely not quick. All right, 2017. Look at this, 128. Price went up. Price sold off. Found support. Price went up. Price sold off. If you would have got there, found support. This is a sell-off. I don't remember exactly what happened on this day. You could have put an entry there. Price goes up. Here, boom, sell-off. Price goes up. Again, sell-off. Price goes up. We didn't quite get it here. This is at the 50. This was a month before we topped out. We haven't had that in this bull market, in this bull cycle, which is why I'm saying, let's say that the bull cycle started, in hindsight, let's just say it started, when did we really break out? Really above 10,000. Whenever we didn't return to 10,000. And we didn't return to 10,000. It was sometime in right here. We never went back below it. July. Yeah, July 27th. So let's look at July 27th. Was that July 27th? Yeah, July 27th, 2020. So July 27th, 2020. Look at this. High, 128, found support. This is when it sold off. So that week never went. It went below 10, but it didn't close below it. And that's what I had said. It wasn't going to close the week below it. Found support, and that was the last time we went to it. We jetted off of it, and we took off. So this is an exceptional run, like I said. We're at a 50 here. Could we come all the way back to 34? I mean, we possibly could, but we're going to have to break the support, which is a good bit at 38,000. So I'm going to say most likely not, at least not right now. I think that's it. I'll pull up the Mayer multiple bands. Oh man, didn't do that. So we hit this upper band and now we're selling off. We went above it here and then we sold off, but this is actually good. Right now the overbought area is at 86, 85, 86 area. that kind of gives you a historical area of price high for the cycle. There really isn't anything else I want to go over. We can look at the stock to flow. Where we're actually above it. The model price. This is 31. The stock to flow cross asset is at 57, so we're a little bit below it. But that price target's like 250, somewhere around there by like September. So we'll see. If we have some consolidation here, it's only going to be for a few weeks. I think we're going to go. I honestly don't believe that this is the cycle top, but we're just taking a little break. So, you can take this as an opportunity to, maybe this is a dip buy. How far have we fallen from the high? We went as low as 9%. 15% would be somewhere around here, 41. Yeah, that could be a buy. That could be a buy an opportunity right here. Then we go higher, but we would see. Maybe this would be a little bit better. But we'll see. We'll see. We still got a lot of days in the month. 20 more days, 3 weeks or something. Like I said, I wouldn't mind if we get some consolidation this month. I wouldn't mind if this month would be rather boring. I say rather boring, but we've already shot up 34%. So if we have a rest of the month be boring, and we stay around 34%, and then look at this. Look at this Fibonacci right here, 45,000, and then we sold off, and where are we at? Right around 45,000. Next month we close above this high of 47 or 48.2, and then we make a run at 60, and then we just reevaluate and see what happens. Once we go past 77, there's nothing here for this. I'll have to start relying on other things, but thanks for watching. Any questions, comments, leave them in the comments. So thanks for watching.